It's 1:13 a.m. Your room is dark. Your body is exhausted, but your thumb keeps scrolling anyway. One more post, one more photo, one more reminder of who you're not becoming. Fast enough. Someone your age just bought a house. Someone else got engaged. Another person launched a business. A college friend is standing on a beach in Greece, smiling like life finally makes sense. And suddenly, your entire life feels strangely late. 5 minutes ago, you were okay. Then the algorithm quietly introduced you to people who seem happier, more attractive, more successful, and more alive than you. And now your brain is asking a question that feels heavier every year. What am I doing wrong with my life? Welcome to the modern comparison trap. The psychological system slowly convincing millions of people that no matter how much they achieve, it will never feel like enough. And the terrifying part is, most people don't even realize it's happening. Because comparison doesn't feel like self-destruction at first. It feels like motivation. Some people are not unhappy because their lives are bad. They are unhappy because they keep measuring their real lives against everyone else's edited reality. In 1954, psychologist Leon Festinger introduced something called social comparison theory. His idea was simple. Human beings understand themselves by comparing themselves to other people. Who's smarter, more attractive, more successful, more loved? Thousands of years ago, this helped us survive. If you lived in a small tribe, understanding your social position mattered, but your brain evolved for tribes of maybe 100 people, not social media feeds exposing you to millions of lives every single day. And that's where everything broke, because now your nervous system thinks the entire internet is your tribe. Your grandparents compared themselves to neighbors. You compare yourself to the entire planet before breakfast, and your brain quietly interprets all of it as, everyone is ahead of me. The internet gave people unlimited access to each other's lives, but human self-worth was never designed for unlimited comparison. You open Instagram for 3 minutes, and suddenly, your apartment feels smaller. Your salary feels embarrassing. Your relationship feels weaker. Your progress feels slower. Not because your life changed, but because your perspective did. And maybe the most dangerous part? Your brain cannot fully distinguish between people sharing moments and people living permanently happier lives than you. So even when you logically know it's curated, emotionally, it still hurts. Pastor and author Stephen Furtick once said, "The reason we struggle with insecurity is because we compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel." And that is exactly what modern comparison has become. A psychological game you were designed to lose. In America, comparison is no longer occasional. It's constant. Everywhere you look, life has become performance. Your career, your body, your relationships, your vacations. Even your happiness now feels measurable. People don't just go to dinner anymore. They document the dinner. People don't just work out. They turn it into proof. People don't just succeed. They broadcast success in real time. And after enough exposure to this, something dangerous happens. You stop experiencing your own life directly and start viewing it through imagined judgment. How does my life compare? How do I look? Am I behind? Am I wasting my 20s? Should I be further by now? And eventually, you become emotionally unable to enjoy your present moment without mentally comparing it to someone else's. Comparison steals joy in a very specific way. It makes ordinary life feel like failure. You could be drinking coffee on a peaceful Sunday morning and still feel anxious. Not because the moment is bad, but because somewhere online, someone your age appears to be living a more exciting life. You close the app, put your phone face down, stare at the ceiling, and suddenly your own life feels strangely unfamiliar to you. And this creates a modern psychological crisis nobody talks about enough. People are no longer asking, what kind of life makes me happy? They are asking, what kind of life looks successful to other people? And those are not the same question. Here's the deeper problem. Comparison is addictive because your brain believes it's helping you improve. It whispers, just look a little longer, learn from them, catch up, push harder. But most people are not inspired by comparison anymore. They are emotionally crushed by it. And after enough years of constant exposure, your nervous system begins living in permanent inadequacy. You sit on your couch, relaxing, and suddenly feel guilty for resting. You spend time with family, but part of your brain still feels behind in life. You achieve one goal and immediately feel pressure to achieve another. Why? Because comparison quietly moved to the finish line again. The problem with comparison is that there is no final victory. There will always be someone younger, richer, more attractive, more successful, and more ahead. Always. But here's the part nobody talks about. Comparison doesn't only change how you see yourself. Eventually, it changes what you allow yourself to enjoy. You stop celebrating small wins. You stop feeling proud of progress. You stop feeling present in your own life, because somewhere in your head another person is always doing better. And maybe the saddest part is this. Many people no longer even know what they genuinely want anymore. Their desires became outsourced, built from trends, algorithms, other people's approval, other people's timelines, other people's definitions of success. And eventually, they wake up one day chasing goals they never consciously chose. So how do you escape this? Not completely. Comparison is human, but you can stop letting it control your self-worth. And it starts with something surprisingly simple. You stop treating every other person's life like a measuring stick for your own. Psychologists now talk about something called JOMO, the joy of missing out. Not needing to see everything, not needing to keep up with everyone, not needing constant updates about lives you were never supposed to compete with. Because peace often begins the moment unnecessary comparison ends. Your life starts feeling lighter when you stop turning strangers into judges of your progress. Maybe tomorrow morning, before opening social media, sit quietly for 30 seconds and ask yourself, what in my current life would younger me be grateful for? Maybe it's your health, your best friend, your freedom, your sense of humor, your survival, your small apartment you once dreamed of escaping into. Because comparison has a cruel effect. It blinds you to prayers you already survived to receive. And maybe real confidence was never, I'm better than everyone else. Maybe it's simply, I no longer need to measure myself against everyone else to feel valuable. Life is not a race where everybody starts at the same line. It's not even the same map. Some people bloom at 22, some at 40, some rebuild themselves entirely after losing everything. And some of the people you envy right now are secretly exhausted from maintaining the image you admire. So if you feel behind tonight, remember this. You are seeing snapshots, not full stories. You are seeing performances, not private battles. You are seeing outcomes, not sacrifices. And most importantly, you are seeing their timeline, not yours. A flower does not become worthless because another flower blooms earlier. And your life does not lose meaning because someone else's story looks brighter online. Maybe the real tragedy of comparison is not jealousy. It's how many beautiful lives become invisible to themselves because they spent too long staring at someone else's. Because one day, many people will realize most of their lives were never actually missing. They were just too distracted, watching someone else's. So tonight, before you fall asleep, ask yourself honestly, if social media disappeared tomorrow, what parts of your life would still genuinely matter to you? Because that answer is probably much closer to your real life than you think. If this video resonated with you, comment. Enough. Not as motivation, not as performance, but as a reminder that your worth was never supposed to be calculated against somebody else's timeline.